terms of recognizing an outgoing member of council, one is always tempted to roast them, which we'll probably do a bit of. One is always wanting to celebrate their contributions and their commitments. What I thought I would do tonight, I just very briefly want to touch on John's work here on City Council. And then I would like to open it up to members of council for you to give your thoughts. I'm sure many of you who've served with John, regardless of how long, may want to give your thoughts. Then we do a bit of a special surprise, and even after that, we have a couple of gifts to give Councillor Brassard, and I'll call on him at that time. So just to touch on for a minute, John's accomplishments and role here at the city. Councillor for Ward 7 for 9 years on City Council, the chair of the Community Services Committee, the chair of the Transportation Economic Development Committee, chair of Infrastructure Development and Infrastructure Development. I can't even. I love it. Committee. Tourism Barrie, served on Tourism Barrie for years. Finance and Corporate Services Committee, served on that committee as well. Those are, and the many other appointments and roles along the way on boards and commissions and so forth, but in his role as chair of those committees as well, played a central role in shaping the direction of this community, of course. But who did he do it for? Leanne, his wife, and he, of course, John is father to 4 incredible kids, and I see one of them peering over the glass tonight. I met children. John has been a consummate family man. His family always came first, but I think it's fair to say always drove him too, and I'll say a bit more about that later. And of course, we know that he was also a firefighter. 30 years of service, I believe, 29, 30 years of service to the town of Markham. And a profession which he contributed to throughout his time at the town of Markham. Excuse me. So, members of council, I have a few remarks that I will make later, but I'm sure some of you would like to make a few remarks. And I thought rather than the awkwardness of John standing at the podium, while he's in the audience, I'd open the floor to those remarks. So, Councillor Shipp.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for letting me go first. John, I really dreaded this night. It's a long time coming. Many sleepless nights I've tried to think of words to say to you. I tried to think of what could I possibly say about John that John hasn't already said about himself. John, I won't go through the whole night because I've enjoyed your company. It's been 5 years, and when I first started here, you were very friendly, very open, one of the most welcoming of the group when I first started. And I thank you for that. We're going to miss you, believe it or not, John. I'm sure I'll still see you with the rink lots. You'll do a good job for us in Ottawa, I'm sure. We're looking forward to your reports back. You know, a couple people have joked that maybe a little lengthier than normal, but we're looking forward to it, John. I'll miss your family too, you know that. They're always nice to see you at different events, but I've enjoyed the 5 years, John. We'll miss you, but do a good job for us in Ottawa.
Councillor Sawyer.
Thank you, Madam. What I want to say is, I'm not a funny guy, and I speak serious all the time. And the thing I want to say is serious, and what it is serious that John has doing a great job for Barrie, and a great job for the council. And you know, when I start out, John came to me and said, Peter, you know, if you need any help, please come on me. I want to thank you, John, for all his support. And, you know, sometimes we fought and, you know, we argue in things that we did not agree. But at the end of the day, I say that John always have the Barrie City Council and Barrie in general in his heart. I want to say thank you, John, for, you know, all your support and all support also. And I want to say that, you know what, at the end of the day, I think Barrie choose you because you are hard work, and I'm pretty sure you're going to work hard for Barrie. Thank you so much for the last 40 years, and we will miss you, for sure.
Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Lehman. Well, the City Council's loss is Barrie's gain. There's no doubt in my mind that John's going to do a tremendous job in Ottawa. And I go back 9 years. I'd never met John Brassard until he was elected to this council. He came in with probably a little bit towards negative feelings towards me. He doing quite well on council, and that's just the way politics works. But within a matter of weeks, I got to realize that we had elected, City of Barrie elected a great councillor, and he has been a great councillor for 9 years. He's hardworking, and I think a large part of the council is getting along as councillors, and I think that's maybe something that people outside of council don't realize how important it is to work with others. John worked very well with it. He's got a great sense of humor. He put up with a lot of abuse from his fellow councillors, but deserved, yes. But he's a very nice person. He's got a very nice family. He's had councillors over to his house for various things over the years. Sorry, Doug, you know. And I can honestly say we'll miss him a lot around the council chambers. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Ward. Yeah, we tried to get headshot number 793 for the stream right now, but we had to settle for some video, which will come later. Councillor Morales.
Thank you, Mayor Lehman. Like I started to say at a previous meeting, John, I really got to know you a lot over the last couple of months while on council. You were a council member I gravitated towards for mentorship and advice. This job is definitely, you learn as you go, and you start with a lot of enthusiasm, and then you really, to continue that, you really have to learn the ropes, and you were someone who I really could depend on, and as other members have said, not only for that advice, but you've got a good sense of humor, and we need to laugh sometimes in order to keep going with the passion that we had. You have a heart of gold. You have the conviction of an arbitrator. I honestly, one day I would not want to be on the other side of the negotiating table with you, so that will serve as well in Ottawa. And the passion and confidence you spoke with on issues around the table is something that I will take away from this. Heck, I think I even made the comment, there were some issues that I disagreed with you, and after hearing you speak, I almost voted on your side, except Jimenez. That one we'll agree to disagree. But passion is something that can't be taught. That's something that you've showed me, and we'll definitely miss you and your time on council. And we'll continue to see the great work you do, and continue to make you proud on council as well. And I also know that Papa and Mama Brassard will be keeping an eye on me and making sure I stay on track as they reside in the ward as well. So keep in touch, and we're looking forward to hearing what's going on in Ottawa.
Councillor Press.
Thanks, Mayor Lehman. There's a lot I'd like to say, and I think I'll try to keep it very brief, but I think the first thing I have to divulge is a little secret. John, you are not your parents' favorite member of council. So, I'm just going to burst your balloon, and I'm not sure Leanne is convinced that you're her favorite either. So, I've been very honored to sit beside you, John, for these many years, and from that, I've been very fortunate that the friendship has come out of it, and I didn't just get you, I got your family, I got Leanne, your parents, your sisters, your kids. So to me, it's not goodbye, it's I'll see you at the bar. But what I really enjoyed about my time with you, John, I think is for people on the outside, we had some years here that were challenging as members of council. Without going back to the dark days, they were challenging. And what that meant for some members of council is we established a bit of a trust and I dare say a brotherhood to be able to know what the other was thinking, where they were going, and really trying to keep the corporation on the right path. And you were that for me, so I thank you for that. To work with somebody, really just to epitomize things, integrity, conviction, grounded in common sense and family. If I had to craft an elected representative, whether it be municipally or federally, John, those are the things I would look for. And I don't care what your political stripe is, people should be very comfortable and confident in the work you will do in Ottawa. So congratulations. We will miss you, but I know I will see you and your family soon. And a special shout out to your parents who love me more.
Thanks, Councillor Chris. Councillor Andrews.
Thank you, Your Worship, and congratulations, John. I have actually known John Brassard for many years from conservative circles, and I would just like to say that being with him on council, I've been very impressed with the work that he's done here. He's a very honorable and hardworking individual, and I'm sure will be very well represented in Ottawa by John Brassard. Congratulations again, John.
Councillor McCann.
Leave it. Well, I'll keep mine short and sweet. Two qualities that I haven't seen in John. But I will actually agree with everybody around the table about John. I mean, I only know John. I've known John for maybe 10 months. And unlike Councillor Shipley, when I first met you, I thought, wow, that's a bear. And you have this tough exterior, but once you get past that tough exterior, you're just aces. You're top quality, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to do in Ottawa. And I consider you a friend, and you've been very friendly and helped through the process. So congratulations to you, and it's the way to go.
Councillor Rubin.
John, I remember when I first started, I was looking up to you, and I think I want to be like him, and you're a go-getter, and you're going to really be missed around here, and I think you're going to be hard to replace. So, I mean, the person that comes in has high standards to settle with, so I want to congratulate you on your MP, sorry.
Thank you, Councillor Romina. Thank you all members of council for that, those remarks. Okay, we have a little video clip here. This, I'm not aware, has been shown publicly, although it's been quietly sitting there on YouTube for many months. So I'll let you in on a little secret before we roll tape to council. I think some of you may be unaware of this. Councillor Brassard and I, filled with hubris and overbelief in our own ability, teamed up to apply for the Amazing Race Canada. And we did an audition video. Roll tape.
All right, hello, Amazing Race Canada. I'm Jeff Lehman. I'm the mayor of the city of Barrie.
And I'm John Brassard. I'm a councillor at the city of Barrie for Ward 7.
We're going to show you the Amazing Race Barrie style.
Let's do it.
Find the first clue.
Let's do it. There, Jeff.
Yep. Okay, oh, there's a clue. There's a clue. Okay, John, this says, your next clue can be found under the ice. Think back to the Salt Lake City Olympics.
It's got to be the Barrie Molson Center, Jeff.
It's got to be the ice at the BMC.
Let's go. All right.
All right, hey, Paul, we need the Zamboni, man.
Yeah, we got to find something on the ice right now, Paul. Do we have it?
We got the Zamboni? Ah, perfect. All right, dude.
All right, dude.
What are you doing? Trying to practice here.
Mr. Mayor, you know who that is?
That's NHL Hall of Famer Dale Howardchuk. Right here. Yeah, I guess we could have just asked the coach, eh?
That would have been a lot easier. What's the clue say?
Okay, here we go. Last year, more than 300 dump truck loads are enough to fill 27 Olympic-sized swimming pools fell on Barrie.
Well, that's got to be snow, Jeff. You didn't get lots of snow.
Good chance.
Yeah. I think we got to go to the operations center for that one.
The snow clouds, the salt dome. All right, let's go.
Thanks,
That's it.
Coach. Appreciate it. See you later.
All right.
There's a marker there.
Yeah, okay, here it is, salt dome. All right. Oh, man. How are we going to find it in here? Grab a shovel. There you go, there you go.
Here's our next clue. Head to a place where all decisions are made.
City Hall.
Gotta be City Hall. Let's go.
All right.
Lehman, Councillor Brassard, you are the first team to reach City Hall. However, you are the only team to enter Amazing Race Barrie.
All right, we hope hope you saw a little bit of our city through the Amazing Race, Barrie. We're really excited to be contestants. We want you to know, though, we are not doing this for us. If we win, all of the prize money is going to charities here in the city of Barrie. And this is not about us, this is about an entire community competing in the Amazing Race. So we want to be your contestants on the Amazing Race. Thanks for watching our audition video.
Make sure you elect us for the Amazing Race.
For the life of me, I don't understand how we didn't get named. But I'll tell you, we worked with a local guy who does those kinds of videos, promotional videos and so forth, and the three of us sort of worked together to come up with that, and what a delight it was. And thank you, obviously, to the city staff and Coach Howard-Chuck and the Colts and the others who at least allowed us to intervene with the camera and do that. But, you know, John, doing that piece and showing off the city a little bit, and of course the first version of that, predictably, was about 8 minutes long, and we had to edit it down for the requirements. And it was that long because there were so many different places we wanted to go, pieces that we wanted to somehow include, because it actually became a little bit about, well, can we show off a bit more of Barrie, show off a bit more of Barrie? And that spoke to, I think, the commitment to this city that you've shown over 9 years on this City Council. And commitment and follow through is something that I always admired about you, John, and I started to look through all those nice phrases, bon mots, well said things that you had over the years, the push for different goals that were important to you, and one I kept coming back to, Essa Road. And I thought, you know, when you drive down that road today, because it was about 3 years ago that you started pushing for that road to get done, and he had a great expression. I bet all members of council know what it was. I looked it up. I went on the Examiner's website, and I typed into the search box, Cowpath, Essa Road, Brassard. And it came up with no less than 4 different articles. I'm not kidding. And John committed to it because, and he used that expression over and over to drill into our heads how important it was that that particular road get done. And as much as there are so many other projects and pieces of the city, John, that you should feel a sense of ownership of, I suppose we probably all as members of council have accomplishments that we may feel more personally proud of. And I hope that's one among many for you, because it really demonstrated to me a commitment not only to your ward, because it was a clear ward issue for Councillor Brassard in Ward 7, but it was also a broader issue for the city of Barrie. It was symptomatic of how we needed to catch up. And John, in 9 years, you really led that fight. Councillor Gross referenced earlier that there was a bit of an effort to come together in the early years that you served and I served in 2007, 2008. I remember standing outside the Lions Hall. I don't know if you remember this, in bitter, bitter cold. And I really didn't know you then. We'd been elected in expensive meetings together, but I believe it was a civic dinner, and we were only a few weeks into the term, maybe a few months. And you had some concerns, and I remember standing outside there talking with you. And I went home that night thinking, this is somebody that I'm going to work very closely with for a long time, I hope. And I've been very, very privileged to do that. Through all the issues that we had over growth and shaping growth in this community, some tough times there where we weren't always on the same page with our neighbors, and we had to come together in support of Barrie. I think of our first trade mission to the beautiful metropolis of Calgary with the business development group and about 11 businesses here from Barrie, and then of course further afield to China as part of the trade mission there that included 60 different delegates from Southern Ontario, and you and I were part of the Barrie trip. I also have to thank you, John, because you were there when things didn't go well as well. And no more so I have to thank you for than what we've done with Barrie Transit. That was a tough file. And I put myself out there, and you came right along with me. And you took some hits, I took some hits. We deserve some of those hits because, frankly, it didn't go all that well when it started. But you continued to say around this table and in the community that it's worth it, it's going to take time, we're going to get it right, we're going to be proud of it. And the other day, we opened the new transit garage on Welland Road, and I was able to stand there as mayor and say that we'd seen record ridership over this summer. And that, I don't think that stick-to-itness, the fact that council continued to support it, would have happened without your leadership around this table. So I want to thank you for being there in tough times and sticking to the agenda that we had together. Some of the things you'll be able to look back on, you know, the election nights are often our great moments that we get to look back on. And it was such a privilege for me to share that moment in the Barrie Molson Center for you on the night at your victory party just a few weeks ago. It's a very proud moment for me to stand at the side and see you rise onto the federal stage. I remember when I won in mayor in 2010, you being there for that as well. You know, the numbers tell a tale. Since you joined council in 2007, crime in this community is down 37%. Community safety was always a focus for you. Traffic calming has now become something that's spread throughout the community, driven by you as committee chair and as a councillor. Recruiting business and investment, the role you played in IBM, and the work that we did together and that you did with council and city staff. And of course, a number that I'm fond of saying, but I hope you feel some ownership of, and that's that there are 20,000 more people with jobs in this city since the depth of the recession in 2008. And the work that's been done in this organization to help that happen, create the climate for that, you can feel a great sense of ownership of. You know, I think what always struck me was your innate ability. It's baked into your DNA to come up with the right word at the right moment, to convince your fellow councillors, to communicate to the community a difficult subject that is such a rare gift. And you will carry that with you to Ottawa and the rest of your career, which I know will be a long one. Because it is often the challenge for us in this building and around this table to take complex issues and try and communicate them in a brief way, in a direct way, that avoids some of the jargon of municipal government and can go straight to what I call the Tim Hortons lineup. If I have to explain this in the Tim Hortons lineup, how do I do it? Well, it's not an overstatement to say I often think of how John explained it. You sat as a tremendous councillor for your ward. You knew the ward inside out. You knew the people inside out. I know that from knocking doors with you. But you always had the whole city in mind, and what a rare, rare thing that is as a municipal councillor, to be able to balance those two things effectively and every time we had an issue. And of course, it's been said by your colleagues around this table that you were a leader around the table, and there's little question of that. You've always represented us incredibly well in the media, out in the business community, out with your residents, and then when we had the occasion, when you're representing the city, I always had deep confidence that if you were representing myself or representing this organization, that it would be represented well. So I know you're going to represent us extremely well in Ottawa. But I won't lie, I feel like losing a friend and losing somebody who has been an incredible city builder. You know, we recognized two amazing individuals earlier tonight for their work in city building, and you have a 9-year career that has helped us build a much, much stronger community. So thank you for 9 years of that community building, of bringing your values, of your commitment to the community, 9 years of integrity, and 9 years of support around this table. I'll ask you to come up to the podium now. We do have a few gifts for you, but none of those, I guess I want to say in sort of in conclusion to these remarks, none of those can truly reflect your contribution to the community. So John, thank you for your 9 years of service. Please join me. Fun part is we get to give them some gifts. First of all, it has become a bit of a tradition with outgoing councillors, and nobody has made more of a contribution, I don't think it's fair to say, to the traffic calming program in our community. So not only do we have the traffic calm neighborhood, but we do have the big blue greenhouse. John, your office in Ottawa.
Start a national traffic calm.
I think you should. On all federal roads. And this one, I'd like to, I'll show it to council. It's a picture of the Holly Rec Center. And, you know, we thought hard about what picture to give you. And this one, you know, you were part of the committee right at, in the last stages. You don't see this building through to conclusion. But, you know, what really made us want to do this was that, you know, this is very much the heart of Holly. It's a rink. You might have spent a bit of time there, so many years. But I think about those town hall meetings. I think about the families that come in here. The fact that Holly is much more than a rec center. It's a community gathering place. It's a spot where people meet each other and talk about issues over coffee or over the rink boards. And I feel like, you know, you're always going to belong there. I hope you feel a great sense of ownership around this building. But I also hope you hang it on your wall because it'll always remind you of Holly and home. Thanks, John. Thank you.
Well, anybody knows me knows I'm a lover and an idiot when it comes to these sorts of things. Councillor Cross, how many times have we cried together? But anybody knows. My nose is running right now. So, first of all, I do want to say thank you, and in particular to Mayor Lehman. You were exactly what this city needed at a time it needed you. And the relationship that you and I have built over these last 9 years is something that will carry on forever, not just in my role as a member of parliament, nor as my role as a city councillor, but we will be friends for life. And you are, and I say this publicly everywhere I go, a terrific leader for this city. And I want to thank you for your kind words. My colleagues on council, that friendship will certainly last a lifetime as well. Many of you I've known since I was elected to City Council back in 2006, Councillor Krause, who has been as much a mentor to me as I have to some of our younger councillors. You were there, although technically in the beginning, because you didn't know who I was, but you gave me a chance. You gave me a chance to get into that inner Krause, to work together, to gain your respect and your trust. And there were many times around this table that we agreed, and I am so thankful to have known you on this council because I have learned so much from you. You are a man of integrity and honesty, and you should be everything that a city council should aspire to be. There are others around this table, of course, Councillor Ward, the Elder Statesman Council, who's been here for a long, long time. We don't really know how long, but we can find out. But I guess you know, one of the first interactions that I had with Barrie, and I'll tell this story, and I know that we've talked about it and laughed about it many times, Barrie, since it happened. But when I was announced as chair of the Community Services Committee in my first term of council, I remember Councillor Ward in the very advance saying, well, that's okay, because anybody can be a chair. Talk about never getting a second chance to make a good first impression. Barrie and I have come to know and respect each other. Barrie is a terrific leader on this council. He has been here since the depths of the Great Depression. And there are historical things that Barrie knows, but Barrie, again, on the honor and integrity standpoint, you are a 10 out of 10. And young councils and young councillors can learn a lot from you, Barrie. And I appreciate the mentorship that you've shown me over these last 9 years. Councillor Shipley, who we got to know, and anybody that goes up to the Andrews Bayfield Center knows when they see Councillor Shipley's face. Just be careful, ladies, because the eyes do move on that picture. I'm sure he's remotely controlling it from home. But you know, it's funny, Councillor Prouts, you may recall when Councillor Shipley was first elected, how you and I used to sit there, and we used to torment, we still do actually, torment the other side of the table. We'd lean into each other as Councillor Shipley would be speaking. We wouldn't say anything, but we'd be pointing at him like this. And he would, after the meetings, come to us and say, "What were you guys saying?" And we weren't saying anything. We were just doing that to get you going. Although when Councillor Solera spoke, we were actually saying things. We were pointing and saying things.
With accent, right? Yeah, don't forget that.
With respect. And of course, Councillor Morales, thank you so much for your kind words. We have got to know each other. Your future is bright, and I know that you have the best interest of your ward residents in your city in your heart as well. And keep on that track. Councillor McCann, oh look, a squirrel. I had to. We've got to know each other over the last 10 months or 12 months or so, and I've come to respect your passion for your ward residents. I've been there a couple of times for you to help guide you and mentor you, like you said, but you're going to do a great job, and you're going to be terrific as a city councillor in the city. Councillor Ainsworth, again, thank you so much. I know oftentimes, you know, I'll say it, we didn't agree on some issues, Lonnie, but it was always respectful. And we've known each other for a long, long time. And one thing that is undeniable is your passion for your ward residents and for this city. And as long as you're on this earth, I know you'll love this city and you'll continue to fight for it. And that's terrific. Councillor Romita, we really got to know each other over the last several months. And it's been a terrific, I know you've done some great community work, and it's been my pleasure to be there to help you throughout this time. And just stay the course and keep working hard. Particularly staff, over the last 9 years, really, I can't say enough about the staff in the city of Barrie. Every time I've needed something from them, they've been there. And I think of the hardest working man in show business, Mr. Fryery and his crew, and the work that they've done, whether it's our transit staff, our waste management staff, our executive management team. Everybody has been there to support me and my ward residents in my role as a city councillor. We have a terrific staff. They are proud, intensely proud of the job they do, and they help support us to do the job that we do, and I'm thankful for that. There's two in particular that I do want to mention, and unfortunately Dawn's not here tonight. The Queen's Diamond Jubilee recipient is not here tonight, but she has, what a terrific lady, and what a terrific support mechanism for all of us. There were many times when I would send Dawn an email in the morning, I would send her an email at night, sometimes even in the middle of the night, and she would answer me back. And as a city councillor, sometimes you need things quick, and Dawn would be there to do that. And I speak in particular to those who I've spent 9 years with. I know that there's been certain staff that have come and gone, but Richard Forward is another one who I want to acknowledge this evening. Richard has not only become a friend to me, but he has been a terrific leader for this organization with volumes and volumes of information in depth. And oftentimes I would go to Richard and I would bounce ideas off him and I would say to him, "What do you think about this?" And that was done a long time ago, but it's still not a bad idea. He was never, ever negative. He was always positive in his approach to this city. And I can't think of somebody to, and I'll say this, who is worthy of potentially leading the city at some point than Richard Forward. He has been a terrific leader. I also want to thank the media. One of the things that I learned long ago, and it's a lesson that I've spoke to many of you about many, many times, and that is to never get into an argument or cause problems with people who buy ink by the barrelfuls or tapes by the caseloads. And in fact, just after caucus last week when I spoke to our interim leader, Rona Ambrose, I mentioned exactly that to her. And that's one of the things that the media has shown me over the last 9 years is an element of respect. And I understand that they have a job to do, and I encourage all of you to understand that they have a job to do and to treat them with respect and help them do their job, because they will help you do your job that much more effectively. And in particular, I want to thank Terry, who's in the booth tonight, Bob Rutan, and Lori Watton as well, for all their support over the years. And when I look back at some of the accomplishments, Mayor Lehman, I know you mentioned a few of them, but in particular, the relationship that I built with my ward residents. Many of them I know by name, and there's no secret to being an effective city councillor, as there will be no secret to being an effective MP. And that is that you have to return people's emails, return their phone calls, stand at the end of their driveways, and sit in their living rooms and talk to them about their issues. Not everybody is going to be able to help, and if you can't, you explain why, but at least they'll understand and appreciate the fact that you've given them that honest moment of your time, and that's exactly what I've tried to do in my 9 years of being a city councillor, is to give people an honest moment of my time. In Ward 7, with the support of council, we've had sidewalks at Roberta Place. When we knew that the widening was going to take place, that ended up costing $50,000 for those temporary sidewalks, but it was important for the safety of those residents of Roberta Places. Earlier you mentioned the traffic calming initiative, which is something that I'm very proud of, that it's now citywide. The fire on Southport, which was a changing and turning point for our city, in the sense that we needed a fire station to help improve response times, albeit a temporary one. I'm not quite sure how temporary it's going to be, but it's something that improved response times and safety for residents of Ward 7. The cell tower is something that I'm particularly proud of, not just because of the personal accomplishment, but the accomplishment that we made as a city in changing the national agenda on cell towers and making sure that cell tower initiatives would have good public consultation. We saw that happen because of the national attention it gained from an issue that started right here in Barrie. In fact, just last week I was called about a cell tower in Calgary, and somebody wanted to know what we did here in the city of Barrie. So that's a legacy that goes on. Planning for the annexed lands, you mentioned Essa Road, Mayor Lehman. One of the things about Essa Road that I felt was so important was the fact that we got one shot to get that development right, and we have to make it right, whether it's the type of built form that's going to be on that road or the width of that road. And I talked to a lot of people and created that vision of what Essa Road needs to look like as a major and significant gateway into that city, into this city, and it's starting to take shape now, and I'm very proud of that. As you know, the tornado at Athabasca in Columbia was something that we dealt with. I was actually working that night at the fire station. Mayor Lehman, you took the lead, but the next day we were on the ground with Mr. Fryery and his staff, and one of the things that I kept hearing from residents is the level of service that this city provided during that tornado, and that's something that we need to be very, very proud of. Intersection pedestrian signals. As innate as it may sound, and as costly as they are, they do improve safety. And there were many, many requests for those. Some of the city highlights that we talked about, Mayor Lehman, very early on, you and I initiated the process that changed the budget and the manner in which the budget happened in this city. I mean, if you recall that first budget, we were dealing in that office literally 15 minutes before we came in. What are you going to change? What are we going to do? There was really no plan. And you and I put a motion forward that started the process of changing the budget into a plan that is now received awards across North America. Operation Hero was something that I was particularly proud of, working with Jamie on that. And there's nobody that can inspire you more about this city than Jamie Massey. And some of the things that I relished throughout that process was not the fact that we were making money for a scholarship, but was the fact that I got to spend an hour with Jamie Massey and pick his brain and really get to understand the passion that he has for this city. The waterfront strategic plan, the restoration of the Allendale train station, work on University and the transit changes that you mentioned. In 45 years, this city needed to change its transit system. And it was something, obviously it was your initiative. It became the Brassard plan for transit around this table.
Only when it was going bad.
Only when it was going poorly. But it was something that I believed in, it's something that the city needed, and I'm glad to hear that the numbers are increasing because we needed to change the transit system. We also need to expand it as well, and there are other municipalities that are looking to us to do that. One of the things, and I drive up the 400 every time, particularly lately, and you may recall, Mayor Lehman, we had a meeting with then Transportation Minister Kathleen Yin, and we were talking about a lot of things. We were talking about that turn lane at Essa Road. I think it was former Mayor Aspen that brought that up. But one of the things that I brought up was the need for Jersey barriers along that 400, right? Because the issue was, every time there was a head-on collision, or any time there was a collision, it just stalled the economy of this province. And I mentioned to then Minister Wynne the need for those in order to make sure not only that we improve safety, but we also keep the economy of the province rolling because of the amount of volume of business that flows up and down that 400. So I'm not saying I had a direct impact, and I'm sure they had a lot of information about it, but as I see those Jersey barriers now, I think of the safety that now creates, and the fact that if there is an accident, the likelihood of the economy of this province stalling is limited. I also, in conclusion, want to thank my family. Obviously, we've all dealt with being a city councilor. We know the toll that it takes on our family. We know the sacrifice that we make for public service. And if it's not for our family, we wouldn't be able to do it. My wife Leanne is here tonight. Mitchell, who was 2 years old when I got sworn in, he was barely looking over that counter on that day. And with the changes recently, he's barely looking over it today. But my mom and dad in particular have been very, very supportive. This has been the greatest experience of my life. And I want to thank you. But I will say that I'm not going to Ottawa without something that I know Councillor Prowse, Councillor Shipley, Mayor Lehman, and Councillor Ward would not want me to go to Ottawa with. I'm going to bring my pillow, so on those afternoons when I do get in the House of Commons, maybe not during question period, I'll make sure that I have my pillow there so that you know that I will be comforted and take from my life experiences my pillow to Ottawa. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you.
And Michael Promise, that's all your fault. Congratulations.
John, thank you for your remarks, and I'm glad so many people could be here tonight. I'm glad your family could be with you tonight. We wish you Godspeed and good luck in Ottawa. We know this is not goodbye, but until we see you again. And what a delight that we could share these years with you, and we look forward to many more. Well, members of council, it's been an emotional night already, but we do have some business as well to transact, so to speak. We do not have any deputations, tax applications, or communication items tonight, and that brings us to the committee reports. The general committee reports dated October 21st, 2015. Councillor Minnick.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Ainsworth that Section A of the General Committee report dated October 21st, 2015 now be circulated and be received.
It's moved by Councillor Ramita, seconded by Councillor Ainsworth, that Section A of the General Committee report dated October 21st, 2015 now circulated be received. This is presentation and discussion regarding the 2016 business plan from October 25th. Comments or questions? It's to be received. Seeing none, those in favor? Any opposed? None? That carries.